The morning sun spilled softly over the rooftops of Ilara, glinting off the Atlantic waves just beyond the city's edge. The salt-scented breeze floated through the windows of a well-furnished duplex in Oke-Eri, one of the more peaceful neighborhoods where wealth whispered instead of shouting. Inside, Tola adjusted her gele in front of a large mirror, her movements precise. She was elegance incarnate, smart, calm, and composed, a respected administrator at Ilara Teaching Hospital. Her eyes, though, betrayed a weight she hadn't yet put into words. Her husband, Dele, emerged from the bedroom, car keys in hand. He wore a crisp white shirt, smelling faintly of expensive cologne, one Tola hadn't seen him use in months. "I have an early meeting," he said, not quite meeting her eyes. Tola nodded slowly, lips pressed together. "All right. Drive safe." There were no kisses. No lingering gazes. Just the echo of his shoes and the soft slam of the front door. It hadn't always been like this. 5 years ago, their wedding had been the talk of Ilara. A union of intellect and ambition. Tola, the brilliant medical administrator, Dele, the rising star in coastal logistics, managing high-end imports and shipping contracts. They had built their life together from scratch, fueled by long nights, shared dreams, and whispered prayers. But something had changed. Dele had started returning home late, too often. He became distant, irritable, and overly protective of his phone. He no longer laughed at Tola's dry humor or asked about her day. Instead, he claimed stress from work, long port clearances, stubborn customs officers, and endless paperwork. Tola, wise enough to notice patterns, said nothing for now. One Tuesday afternoon, during her break, Tola sat with her friend Ilara, a pediatric nurse known for her blunt tongue and sharp eyes. "You still haven't confronted him?" Ilara asked, sipping from a steaming cup of kunu. "No," Tola replied. "I'm watching." "That's how you catch a fox." Ilara shook her head. "You Yoruba woman and your calm thunder. Be careful." Tola only smiled, a small curve of the lips. But her eyes had already started seeing clearly. That weekend, Dele traveled to Lagos for business. Tola took the opportunity to rearrange the house. As she instructed the housemaid, Ronke, on what to move and what to clean, she noticed something peculiar. Ronke, the quiet girl from a nearby town, was nervous. Too nervous. She dropped a tray, avoided Tola's gaze, and flinched when the topic of Dele came up. That night, Tola didn't sleep. She watched from the shadows of her bedroom window when Dele returned late Sunday evening. His clothes were rumpled, and the car smelled faintly of a woman's perfume, floral, not hers. He kissed her cheek, but she stood still like a stone. "Welcome," she said softly. "Thanks," he replied, rushing inside. Behind that gentle voice, a storm was forming. The days after Dele's return from Lagos were filled with small silences and practice smiles. Tola moved through the house like mist, soft, graceful, but impossible to grasp. Dele, on the other hand, grew more careless. His secrets began to leak through the cracks he thought he had sealed. One night, Tola saw it. Dele had dozed off on the living room couch, his phone slipping from his fingers. Tola picked it up, meaning to place it on the table, but the screen lit up. "Good night, my king. Dream of me the way you did yesterday." No name. Just a heart emoji and a locked contact photo. She didn't need to guess. Tola placed the phone on the table gently, walked to their bedroom, and sat for a long time in the darkness. Not a tear escaped her eyes. Not a word slipped from her lips. The thunder was still gathering. The following morning, Tola called her cousin, Auntie Remy, a retired teacher known for her discretion and sharp sense. "Remy," Tola said quietly, "I need a favor." Remy didn't ask questions. Within 2 days, she sent over someone she trusted, a discreet, sharp-eyed man named Colonel, who had a history in local private investigations. By the end of the week, Colonel returned with more than just confirmation. Photos, videos, audio recordings. Dele wasn't just having an affair with Ronke, their maid. He was funding her lifestyle. He had rented her a small flat in a different part of Ilara. Worse, Dele had also been speaking with a third woman in Lagos. Tola looked through it all with an eerie calm. She thanked Colonel, paid him generously, and began her silent preparation. Meanwhile, Ronke remained unaware. She carried on, smiling shyly when Tola gave instructions, lowering her eyes respectfully. But Tola saw more than Ronke's face. She saw the way Ronke lingered near Dele's clothes, how she hummed love songs while mopping the floor, how her eyes darted whenever Dele passed too close. Tola took no action. Not yet. Instead, she shifted her strategy. She started arriving home earlier. She cooked Dele's favorite meals again. She laughed at his jokes, rare as they were. She even began leaving her phone unlocked beside him. Dele, misreading her piece for ignorance, became bolder. He stayed out late. He lied more easily. He touched Ronke more freely when he thought Tola wasn't looking. But she was. Always. Then came the day Tola invited Dele's parents for lunch. They sat at the dining table, his father, a retired sea captain, his mother, a stern woman who never quite liked Tola. The meal was rich, ifo rairo, jollof rice, fried fish, and soft amla. Everyone praised her cooking. Then, with that same gentle tone she always used, Tola said, "Daddy, Mommy, please pray for your son. He's under a spell. A small girl from Oyo is collecting rent from him and washing his boxes in a flat he pays for. And yet, he says he's stressed.